Hi, and welcome to the Truly Kenya podcast. This episode, I have the pleasure of having a conversation with Walter Mendez. He is a fashion designer, really to the stars. I don't know who he can work with that will measure up to Beyonce, J-Lo, Mariah Carey, Selena Gomez. I don't know where you go from there. I mean, no offense to the rest of you stars out there, but Walter has worked with the tippity tip top of the who's who, especially when it comes to music. So he is a world traveler. He specializes in women's gowns, and you also are creating drapery or capes for men. I don't know a lot of men that can carry that off. Are there a lot of men that can carry off a beautiful cape?
Absolutely.
Okay, if there was one guy you could get into a cape, who would it be?
I mean, there's
Like
many guys. I see like Bad Bunny. I see Harry Styles. I see Timothy Chalamet.
Yes,
The list goes on.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're right. Those are definitely cape guys. They could definitely carry a cape.
I think my main focus now is kind of redefining menswear. And I think more than ever, we're in a transitional period where fashion is truly evolving, and we're decoding like gender roles when it comes to fashion. And more than ever, men are shopping in the women's section and women are shopping in the men's section. And I think it's a matter of time where there won't be a men's section and a women's section. It will all just be clothing.
So if there was one thing that you would really love to add to men's clothing, and one thing you wish men would just retire altogether, what would that be? Like, what do you really want men to start to embrace or feel more free to embrace when it comes to fashion?
It's simple. I think it's just their mental limitations. Because I feel like most men always feel like, oh, I can't wear that.
For sure.
You know, they probably haven't even tried it on. You know, it's like sort of like just kind of figuring out how you feel in it, how it looks in you. But it's just that limitation.
What do you think that you wish that they would just let go of? Just, we don't ever in life need to see that again.
Let's see. What will I not wear?
Yeah, what would you not wear? Although, you got the shoe, you got the jewelry. You may be, you know what I mean, already fashioned for it.
It's hard because it's never necessarily about what they wear.
Yeah.
It's all about how they wear it. You know, because sometimes it's sometimes I want to wear sweats and I want to wear a big baggy shirt, but it's always about the way you wear it, the style, the way it fits, the vision, the look. So it's never necessarily one particular item or shoe or accessory. It's always about how you wear it and put it together.
And I think sometimes, like, even when I'm looking at red carpets and I see people just out, sometimes I do think, I wouldn't say with men, I haven't noticed it with men, but I'm a woman, but with women, sometimes it's too much, or maybe the dress would be better on someone else, but it looks like they're being swallowed. And it just could be maybe the way that they're carrying themselves in the garment, and it could be a beautiful garment, but just they need to wear it with like, I'm supposed to be wearing this fucking dress. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so much of what we wear is a reflection of how we wear it. So sometimes we see a beautiful girl or a beautiful man and you're like, wow, they look amazing. And you think it's just the dress or just the suit or just the outfit, but it has to do with like the energy that they evoke, how they wear it, and that essentially is what sells you the look. Because sometimes it can be a beautiful dress or a beautiful suit, but if it's ill-fitted on you, it will never truly shine, or it will never do what it's supposed to do.
And I think, as a woman, I think we know, like, no matter how beautiful something may be, if it doesn't fit us right, we don't carry it right.
Exactly.
We just don't wear it right at all. So I totally agree with that. Okay, so I jumped so far ahead with that, but at what point, as you're growing up, do you realize fashion, that's where I'm supposed to be?
It's weird because wouldn't say there was like one particular moment. I think it was just so much of my life. I think so much of our lives, we grow up, there's always that favorite pair of jeans that you had, favorite jacket. There's always been favorite pieces that you've worn throughout your life that just made you feel like $1,000,000.
Right.
And I say million because back in the day, we didn't care about billions.
Right. That's true.
Everyone wanted to be a billionaire.
Right,
Now
right.
everyone's going to be a billionaire.
That's true.
So you always have those pieces of clothing that, you know, when you're going on a date or when you're going somewhere special, you're like, I'm going to wear that. And to me, that is that feeling that I try to evoke that all my clients have. And that feeling is what I try to have in my clothing, in the way it's tailored, in the way it's designed. So for me, it's sort of like I've always understood that fashion has a great connection with your perspective. So as a creative person, I've always used that. And in growing up, I was into, literally in high school, I was in every single art class. I was in woodshop. Believe it or not, for 4 years.
Okay.
I was in art class,
Yeah.
photography, like yearbook, like every
Yes.
art class that I could take, like I was doing it because I was just so creative.
Were one of your parents, both of your parents, or anybody in your family really creative? Where'd you get
My
that?
mom is into photography,
Okay.
but that's about it in terms of
Okay.
like creativity. And I just found that when I found fashion, I could incorporate all of that. I can incorporate everything I learned from photography, lighting, like staging, set design. And then when it came to like yearbook, everything I learned about like photo editing, and then art, everything we thought about like conceptually
Yes.
designing. So literally all of fashion embodied everything that I essentially liked in
Were
the
you
arts.
fashion forward in high school? Were you taking risks and all of that?
I went through many phases in high school.
did?
Yeah. Like I remember my high school year, I was like my urban era.
Oh, okay.
I was wearing like, I can't even remember. Is it South Pole? Remember South Pole at Echo Park?
Echo Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you went through
So that was my
Yes.
freshman year.
Okay.
And then my junior year, I became more like skater boy. So then I was
Okay.
like Vans,
Yes,
O'Neill,
yes,
Volcom.
yes.
And then my junior year, I became more like indie, where I wasn't like wearing like any labels, and I was just wearing like American apparel.
Yes.
You know how everything was like
Yes.
basic and
Yes.
plain.
Yes.
And I think my senior year, that's kind of where I just kind of came into my own and just kind of started not following trends,
Yeah.
but just doing what I wanted to do.
So whatever it is that you wanted to do, how did the other students, your peers, were they like, that's just Walter, or like, wow, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what was the reaction, or what
I
are
was-
you doing?
I
Like,
was-
what was the reaction?
I was very fortunate to have a group of friends in high school that just kind of let me be me.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, it was just
Yeah.
sort of like
You're from California?
Yeah,
Okay.
I grew up in Manhattan Beach.
Oh,
so-
okay, okay. I was gonna say that you're obviously not from the Midwest.
No.
Okay, all right. So then, how do you decide? I mean, there are many different ways you could have gone with fashion, and you landed on women. You know, like, I mean, you're doing things in the men's world too, but women as a primary, I guess, as you started. How did you get there? Were you just like was your mom a really good dresser? Like, or you just, women need help, or I just like the woman's body and how it's tailored? Things
I
like
think
a tailor?
originally I started in women's wear.
Yeah.
Just because I always, as a creative person, I felt like women at the time were the ones that were willing to give me that full fantasy. It was women that want to give you that opulence,
Yes.
that give you the glamour.
So it's always been
Like,
luxury for you.
Yeah, it's for me. I think I've always gravitated towards this world of like
Yeah.
fantasy and
Yeah.
just this grandness over the top.
Yes.
And I was able to channel
Makes
that
sense.
energy early on by doing women's wear.
Yeah. Oh, I could definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And did you get into women's wear before? Because you have some beautiful bridal dresses that I saw on your
Yes.
Instagram, like really pretty.
So I started with women's wear, and
Yeah.
then I noticed that clients were ordering my dresses. They're like, "But can you make it in white? You know, I want to get married in that, but in white." And then early on,
Yeah.
I saw that there's a huge market in bridal,
Yes.
where it's sort of like you're able to go buy a wedding dress somewhere, but you're buying something that's mass produced.
Yes.
You're buying something that's like thousands, if not millions, of pieces.
Yeah.
And because it's mass produced, it has to be watered down to be a piece of a garment that anyone can wear. So it's never really going to be anything like fashion forward
Right.
or super risky or super sexy. It's always that in between.
Yeah.
So I saw a market where I can really design and push the boundaries for my clientele.
Yeah.
And because all of my garments are bespoke, I can really
Yes.
kind of tailor it to every single person. And when you think about it, it's sort of like fashion is meant to be custom made. Fashion is meant to be made for you. Historically, fashion was either made by your parents if they knew how to sew, or if you knew how to sew, or if you were royalty, it was made for you. It was never designed for you to go off and buy something that everybody else could buy, because our bodies are bespoke. Our bodies are different. So mass production is a relatively new concept that we have kind of made part of our life, but nothing ever fits us. We always have to get things altered. We're always struggling. Like, you're always like, oh, I love this top, but I don't like the way this fits, or there's always something you don't like.
Right. And especially in my case, I have a small waist but such big breasts. But so, do you know what I mean? So
whatever fits you here doesn't fit you here. Whatever fits you here doesn't fit you.
Or it's just all hanging out. You know what I mean? So it's either we're going to cover them up and it's going to fit the waist, or it's going to fit the waist, but they're going to be out there, you know? Yeah. So, okay. So I totally agree with that. And how do you end up, so you get into women's wear.
Yes.
What takes you to the next level? Because not a lot of people have worked with Mariah, J-Lo, Selena. I mean, did you foresee that in your future, or you didn't even set out to work with celebrities? You just set out to create beautiful.
I always believed it, and that was my goal, and I think that's essentially why I've brought that into my life. I've always kind of seen a clear direction of what I wanted, and I always have said I've always been delusional enough to believe it, and it is that delusion that has gotten me here. You know, I think when I started, everyone thought I was just like, my nickname was like Hollywood, like my mom's friends would call me Hollywood, because I was always talking about like red carpets and just the most furthest away from where I was. But I have always believed that this is what I want, and this is the direction that I want to go, and I know that it only gets bigger and bigger.
So you love to travel.
Yes.
You were just in Europe for the last 4 months recently.
Yes.
Did you go there on your own, or was that client driven?
I went there for a production of a show, but I also arrived early and stayed late, so I could really kind of explore and just kind of, there's such a freedom and that you get when you're traveling. And when I'm traveling, I'm literally, as soon as the sun's up, I'm up, because I need to see everything. I need to eat everything. I need to.
Are you that overscheduled person?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Yes. But I love it.
Yeah, you love it. Do the people that travel with you love it?
I will wake up at 5 in the morning to go get that shot.
Really? Okay, I love that for you. Okay. I'm like, isn't it going to look at 12? Okay.
Well, Europe is too crowded at 12.
That's true. Okay, I know. I was just in Europe for, you're right. You're right. So out of all these, do you know how many places you went to in Europe?
Like
how many
lost
different
count.
cities you went
There's
to?
a lot of places that I don't even remember.
Wow.
Because I went to so many places.
Wow. Which city had the most fashion inspiration for you during this trip?
It's hard because every city inspired me in different ways. I loved Milan just because it's like a fashion capital. I loved the shopping. I loved seeing just stores upon stores upon stores. It was just like Disneyland for me. You know, I love that aspect. I love the architecture. I love the energy. But I also loved Venice. To me, Venice was like a dreamland. Like, to see this city that I had always envisioned about to going was just so surreal. And then I also went to Florence. Yes. Which I did not expect to fall in love with.
Why?
I had always seen the photos and it looked gray and muddy. And I'm the type of person that loves like crystal blue waters. Like I'm a water person. And the water always just looked brown. So I was like, I don't really care to go there.
That's how I feel about Venice.
But my friends was like, you have to go, you have to go. So I decided to go and I fell in love with it. I loved how many like mom and pop shops were there, and it's all handmade, the craftsmanship, the history. Gucci and Ferragamo originally from Florence.
Right.
So being in these cities where certain brands were from truly helped me understand the brand, the essence of those brands.
Yeah.
Like when I went to Portofino, like seeing like the Dolce and Gabbana influence that Portofino has made me understand more of the brand.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so just like as a tourist for me,
Yes.
when I am, in those places, I'm just, kind of in and out, seeing what they have that we don't have in the States. Were you coming from fashion, living fashion, eating fashion, like it means something so different.
Exactly. Like when I was in Rome, I know like Valentino is from like Rome based, Fendi. So I understand the references in their fashion shows and their set decor and their logos, because it all pertains to the heritage and the history of the brand. So now it helps me understand why they're so different and why they carry different energy.
So if someone saw your brand, they know you're from Southern California, what would they walk away? Would they understand do you have anything within your brand that is an ode to Manhattan Beach or Southern California?
I wouldn't necessarily say my brand is an ode to Manhattan Beach, but my brand is an ode to Hollywood glamour.
Ooh.
And that's like where my brand is an LA-based brand, because I design for those red carpet moments. I design for the person that wants to walk in and be a star, and that is a star, and that's going to own the room. Like if you're wearing one of my designs, everyone's going to notice you. Like I'm not designing something for you to sit in the back row.
Right. Oh. Is there a celebrity that you would just love to get your hands on?
Yes.
Put it out there. You're a manifester.
Oh, it's already out there.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, tell me.
I would say next on my radar that I want to work with is Rihanna.
Ooh.
Earlier you were saying like who's next, or who, like Rihanna.
Okay,
is
remember
next.
I said ain't nobody left.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
There's Rihanna. Like that is someone that I admire their work. I admire their business sense. I admire their fashion sense, and just as a global brand, I admire them.
What would you want to put her? Do you envision her putting her in a dress? So I would imagine it's Rihanna not pregnant, although she had very good fashion sense when she was pregnant. But a non-pregnant Rihanna, is she walking a red carpet? Like where is she just in Europe hanging out? Like what is she doing in your
I see vision? Rihanna wearing a piece for me that it's for a special event. So most likely whether it would be a Met Gala, it would be a red carpet event. It would be definitely a formal event.
Right.
Yeah.
The Met, people that design for the Met, I think, wow, and you see those looks on that carpet, like, you must have been planning this for 5 years. Like, there's no way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure how far in advance the designer gets the theme, but some of those outfits are, I don't know. Is it worth it? Is it worth it for a designer to design for the Met? Something like that?
Here's the thing about the Met. Okay. Most people always wonder, like, why are they just so unrealistic to what we wear today? Like, why is it so, like, who wears that? Like, everyone gets caught in that, like, unrealistic aspect about it. But the thing about it is the Met Gala is essentially celebrating costume design, and it's especially celebrating art. So it only makes sense for you to show up in an art piece. Also, too, this is like the biggest event of the year. So everyone who is going to be remembered has to have a worthy look. And you're going up against every single major celebrity with every single major brand. So this is the time to shine, because if you're playing it safe, you're going to be forgotten. There's so many celebrities that sometimes I come across photos from them at the Met, and I'm like, I didn't even see them.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like big celebrities.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. So for the designer, it's definitely worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not only is it like, yes, it may be like this unrealistic train, let's say, like remember when Rihanna wore that super long, I mean,
so
she's worn many trains, but like the one I have in particular in my mind is like the yellow dress with like the giant train. It's not just like, it's not about someone saying like, oh my God, I want that dress, I'm going to go buy that dress. It's about the brand exposure that brand is getting, and the amount of publicity that Rihanna is going to get because she was the best dressed.
Oh, right,
And
right.
that publicity is worth millions.
Yes, yes, worldwide, yeah. So, okay, so Rihanna, what about who's a guy you like? Well, we just talked about who you'd like to see
Yes.
in a cape, in one of your capes. Is there any celebrity? Okay, does everybody that you wishes, maybe you don't want to, have you ever seen a really beautiful dress on a celebrity, but maybe the celebrity didn't have the confidence, or maybe, I don't know, to wear that particular dress, or that dress didn't get the shine that it should have gotten?
That happens all the time, and I'll give you a perfect example of how it's not just about the dress, but
Okay.
also the energy and the person wearing it.
Okay.
We all know J-Lo's infamous Versace dress.
Right.
It's
Low
also,
cut,
it's
yeah.
actually been coined as that dress is essentially what created Google Images, because so many people were Googling her name and Versace dress, and at the time there were no Google Images, and ever since then, Google Images was created so that you
Okay.
could Google an image,
Yeah.
not just like an article.
Look at me learning. Okay.
So
love it.
before she wore that dress, I believe, I'm not sure if it's Baby Spice or Ginger Spice.
Okay.
That's how
Okay.
not memorable it was.
Okay.
One of them.
And I ain't never heard her. I didn't know anybody had it before J-Lo.
One of them
so-
had worn it to a red carpet. And again, they didn't own it or carry it like
Right.
J-Lo did. And J-Lo came in wearing a dress a Spice Girl had worn
Yes.
before.
Yes.
Mind you, the Spice Girls
Yes,
are
were
a major
big.
deal.
Right,
Like, you're
right.
going to notice them. They're not like
Right.
C-listers. They're a
Right.
big
Right.
name. So one of them had worn that dress, and it just completely forgotten. And I feel terrible that I don't even know which one.
Well, wait a minute. I just saw this year someone else tried to wear the dress, and I'm like, why? Like, I don't even remember who it was, but
Yeah.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just certain things are so iconic. And her in that moment, although J-Lo could probably rewear that, but J-Lo is J-Lo, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And we'd still get all gushy and happy about it again. But anyone other than J-Lo maybe should just leave that particular garment alone.
Exactly.
Just leave it alone. And then, okay, so you're also, I was going to say, so when you look, do you have any brands that if you could do a dream collab with that fits your aesthetic that you would like to, or you're not interested in?
I wouldn't necessarily say that fits my aesthetic, because
Yeah.
I feel like as a designer, I can essentially design for any sort of brand identity. But I would love to be a creative director for a brand like Alexander McQueen. I would love to be a creative director
I
for
can
a
see you,
brand
Alexander.
like Chanel, like
Yes.
certain brands like that I really respect and
Yes.
admire the history.
Yeah.
I would love to be a creative director. The same way how Pharrell took over Louis Vuitton and kind of added his own spin. I feel like I would do amazing by adding my own spin to those brands.
So every day when you wake up, what like when you go outside, since you're a fashion guy, when you go outside, are you always put together? Do you know what I mean? Coming from this fashion world, like, are you ever throwing on like just sweat? Oh, so for instance, I'm not a fashion, well, I don't know, I have some really beautiful clothing, but when I go out, if I throw on sweats, I have to make sure I have a beautiful sneaker. Like, it has to balance for me. Is there anything like, but I just don't see you just hopping, hopping out of bed at 5 o'clock to go get the shot in some sweats. Or do you own sweats?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When was the last
Will you
time
see
had
me in
on?
sweats? No. But I do own sweats. For me, I think, because I wake up every morning and I
Yeah.
go straight to the gym. So my workout outfits aren't necessarily like a high fashion,
Yeah.
but they're very thought out, and they're very
I love it.
they're very specific to the image that I want to have while I'm working out. Like,
Okay.
it'll either be like a black tank top or like a
Yes.
black compression shirt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very consistent with my gym outfits, because again, I don't care to be serving looks at the gym.
Yes.
Like, I do that like the rest of my day.
Yes.
And for me, I always prefer to have a consistent gym look.
Yes.
Because when I take progress photos, I can see the progress, and I know that it's not the shirt that's making me look buffer,
Yeah.
because I'm wearing the same shirt in the before and after per se. So I can actually see how I fill out my clothes differently.
Oh, okay. I've never looked at it like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah, and I specifically wear black to the
Yes.
gym because, I mean, black.
But everybody looks good in black, right? Is that true?
Well,
I
first of
think
all,
so.
everybody looks black is always great because I like the color; it's flattering.
Yes.
I also like that when I'm at the gym sweating, like you notice it less in black because I'm not trying to look like a sweady mess. Like,
Yes.
yeah, like sometimes
You
people are
have
wearing
really thought this
bright
out.
colors and you
Yes.
can
Oh,
see all
me.
the sweat marks in the wrong places, and I'm like, oh, like.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
wear black for that
Yes.
reason, and it just, to me, I like to see that progress in my before and after, so I'm able to also see the way those shirts fit me.
Yeah.
And like I've literally seen me like size down through different sizes, where it's like I literally, when I started working out, I was wearing like a black like
Yes.
size
That makes
large
so much
compression shirt,
sense.
and now I'm like at a small.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. No telling. I mean, no telling. And with the colors, that is really okay. All right. So Walter just gave us a hint. Let's just keep it to black, okay? Then that way, when you finish, if you are a sweater, you can run to the store. Nobody is going to know you were just at the gym. You know, you can still kind of pull it off. But ladies or whomever, if you in all these bright colors and you know you're a sweater, you cannot go to the grocery store after that, okay? Because we don't want to see it. So you have to first go home to change. So black, I'm telling you, everything about black is awesome. For sure, for sure. So, okay, so what is in the horizon for Walter Mendez?
So I'm currently working on my 2 new collections. I'm working on a bridal collection and an evening wear collection.
Okay.
And I'm really excited because the last couple of collections, like my menswear, has been received tremendously with open arms. Like literally just last week I posted a reel with one of my absolutely favorite looks
Yes.
from my show. And I even shared it to like my close group of friends, and I was like, hey guys, like, just again, because I always like to make sure that like my close friends know kind of
Yes.
where I am in my work. And I literally wrote out like, seeing this reel makes me so happy because my vision truly came to life, and I love the way it was executed, and I'm proud of the way it's
Yes.
executed. And moments like this just fill me with so much joy. And literally the next thing I knew, I think right now that video is at 6 million views.
Wow. Wow, congratulations.
So it was like
on
such a great
that.
feeling to know like
Yeah.
moments that I'm so proud of are
Yeah.
really being received so well around the world. And I see all these like men from all over the world like
Yeah.
ordering, like submitting their orders online, and just
Yeah.
kind of like to seeing that influence, and everyone was just like, wow, like there is no one like you out there doing menswear.
Wow.
It's just such a great feeling.
How long does it take to put on a show?
Whew, it takes months.
Oh, yeah?
Granted, I now don't always have months to get ready because
Yeah.
my
Oh.
life happens so
Yeah.
fast, and but I do try to get as much. Right now, the show that I'm working on, which would be for October,
Yeah.
I have about 3 months to prep.
In 3 months, how many looks can you get?
I will try to give you the most amount of looks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Really?
my last collection was 33 looks, and that was,
Wow.
mind you, a look can have a blazer,
Yes.
pants, accessories,
Yeah.
shirts.
I'm blown away by 33.
So it's just, but 33 has been an important number that I've gravitated to in
Yeah.
the last year.
Oh, wow.
So I
Okay.
specifically wanted to have. So I edited a couple looks out, but I think for this next collection, I've just met with the production
Yes.
team. They were like, we have an allocated time frame for you to do up to like 50 looks. So I haven't
Is
decided
that a
what one.
challenge?
Yes and no. I'm more than ever, I like to create the most looks that my team can create.
Right.
And then I go in and edit.
Got it.
Because to me, it's never necessarily about how many looks,
Yes.
but I want every look to be something that I'm genuinely proud of and that I can stand alone. I never like filler looks.
Do a lot of designers do filler looks?
I
on
can't
a
speak
show?
for other designers, but I think for the
Well,
reason
okay,
why
let me ask you this way. Have you, you don't have to say which show, have you been to shows when the run, as you're watching this runway, them
Yeah.
coming down, and you're like, that's definitely a filler look?
yes, there's many times where I see a show and I'm like, that's literally the same look that we saw 2 bottles ago, just in a different color.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Or it gets repetitive, or it
Yeah.
gets, just, and I get it, you want brand cohesiveness.
Yes.
But as an audience member, as someone who's watching the show for like, as someone who's being entertained by a
Right.
production, it does get like redundant and a little boring.
What have you seen a variation in sizing? Like, are larger sizes, especially in women's clothing, because body positivity? Do you think that you're seeing a lot of more higher end design looks for women that may not be, I don't know, 6 or 8 or 10? Do you know what I mean? Are we embracing larger sizes?
Yes, I feel like as a society, we have developed more size inclusivity
Do you think that's
across
because
the
of Lizzo
board.
or no? I mean, because she's so body positive. Like, I don't remember. I don't know. I could be wrong. And if there was someone else before Lizzo and I'm forgetting you, I'm apologizing ahead of time. But it really wasn't until Lizzo that I think, like, I've seen, I feel, even in the streets as I'm walking around, like, people of all sizes, they got on crop tops, they got on this, they got on that. And whether or not you feel that they should or should not, they seem to be wearing it real confident,
I think
confidently.
Lizzo's music and her image as a
Yeah.
whole, pre-allegations,
Yes.
was all about inclusivity. But we
Yes.
also had Meghan Trainor, who was also about.
Was she considered big? Girl?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
All
I
right.
hope so, considering I
Okay.
just said that.
Well, no. You could be right. I know a few of her songs. Okay.
But think about it. It goes way further back. I think when J-Lo came into the scene,
Yeah.
nobody had a Latina booty like her.
Oh, okay.
Like, that was groundbreaking for the time. It was all about like thick, thin. The Kardashians have been a huge push for like diversity and sizing. Like, before them, like, so it's not just like someone as like extreme per se as like Lizzo, but it's been a gradual push to kind of embrace more bodies of different shapes and sizes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that. That's just when I noticed it.
Yeah.
But now that you mentioned some of the others, I'm like, yeah, that
Like,
that's
think about
right.
Ashley Graham, like
Yeah.
model.
She's
not
so
like, yeah,
fire.
she's beautiful. So
Yeah.
there's many celebrities that I think we have seen
Yeah.
push the boundaries of what is considered like
Sexy.
what is considered beautiful,
Right.
what is considered like a red carpet, what is
Right.
considered worthy to be admired.
Right. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, all right. Yeah, you're right. You're so right. So I stand corrected. There were many before. So okay, now when you think of fashion, are there any? I'm trying to get ready for next season. What is out? Can you think of anything that is out? Are we still wearing cargo pants? Because I have such a collection of beautiful, beautiful cargo pants and silk and jean and all that. Is
right
it out?
now, there's this huge push for like quiet luxury.
Oh.
I don't know if you've
Okay,
seen.
tell me, what is a quiet luxury item?
So, a quiet luxury item is essentially pieces of clothing that don't have that aren't necessarily heavily
Great.
branded
Okay, 'cause
all
I'm not.
over.
Okay.
And fashion is kind of like a pendulum. We go back and forth. So there was a period of time back in the 2000s where it was like super popular and to be urban and like remember
Right.
G Unit and
Yeah.
50 Cent and
Yes.
like all of that like culture was what was
Right.
trending. And then we went into the complete opposite where that became out of fashion and then we go back. So right now we're in this like quiet luxury era where it's all about like but people get it wrong all the time. People think that quiet luxury is not like like it's not brand related, but sometimes it is brand related. Like Sophia Richie was a huge push in the new direction of this quiet luxury era and brand. during her wedding. But at the same
Let me
time,
tell you something. She was killing those wedding looks.
yes,
I mean, I thought she was doing those wedding looks, whether it was at her luncheon or this, were so beautiful. I said, I think this is on purpose, and I think she's about to drop some sort of clothing brand.
she is the new it girl. She is the
Just, yeah.
in today's, like, especially social media world, she is
Yeah.
one of the pioneers who is now redirecting the brand. So
Mm-hmm.
we're moving away from fast fashion, like Fashion Nova type of
Mm-hmm.
fits and outfits, to now doing more of these, like, sophisticated, polished, intentional, like, very, like, bad bitch rich.
Bad bitch rich is right. And in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine that is, I mean, rich, okay? We ain't talking little rich. We talking like real rich. And she was like,
Is her name Oprah?
her name isn't Oprah, but I think I'm coming steps closer to Oprah because you're the second person in my presence that has mentioned Oprah just today. So I don't know if I'm running into you at one of those private airports or a restaurant or what, but I am getting closer and closer to Oprah. Would you want to dress Oprah?
Absolutely. She's an icon.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What color would you put her in?
Oh,
I'm
that's
not
hard.
asking the style, but
That's hard.
because you know she's
Because-
losing. She looked like she's losing a lot of weight.
The minute you said color, I literally thought of white. I would love. I would make
really?
a white dress for Oprah. I feel like her energy, her aura, her accomplishments
Yeah.
are so, like, beyond, like, who we are as a society. She's
Yeah.
almost very, like, heavenly. She's
Yeah, I was
almost
gonna
very,
say,
like, godly.
heavenly, yeah.
She's very, like, full of wisdom.
yes.
I would love to see her in, like, a white piece to just kind of represent so much of her amazingness.
Can I ask you a color? Let me ask you a question about red. Is red really like they say, if you go on a date and you won't really want to be remembered or you want to evoke feelings, women should definitely wear red. Do you, as a designer, when you look at the color red, do you think that is true about the color red, or?
Colors are always associated with feelings, so I
Yeah.
can totally see how that connection happens. I feel like when we see someone wearing something solely on the color that they're wearing, we receive that outfit differently.
Okay.
You know, a man in a black suit is different than a
yeah.
man in a white suit.
Right.
They could be the same person, but the white suit, he could be more closer to the beach. He could be in Saint Tropez. He could be at Nobu. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right,
that,
right.
like just the color alone, it can be
Right.
the exact same suit. So
Yes.
colors always play a role in the energy and the image that it portrays.
Right.
For example, blue is always very calming,
Yes.
very soothing.
Yes.
So, you know, every color always evokes different feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So red could definitely evoke, red is sexy,
Mm-hmm.
red is love, red can be, deeper shades of red can be mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not just the color, but it also plays along with your overall look.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a girl in red who has big boobs is going to be different than a girl in red with normal size boobs.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know,
Is it trashy?
I was gonna say-
what I was gonna say. Is it a little trashy? As a person with big boobs, I have to be.
I think as
very,
a person with big boobs, you have to be very conscious
Yes.
of your overall imagery.
Right.
Things that you wear
Yes.
compared to a girl with smaller boobs.
Right.
On her, it might be okay, but on you, it might look a little bit more vulgar.
Right.
Because of this. So you always have to find that good balance.
Right. So the deep V's were really in with girls with small breasts, or
Yes.
girls and women with small breasts, and literally I was with a friend at Neiman, and she tried on something. She put it was so beautiful. She has very small breasts. It was so beautiful. And they had it in my
Yeah.
size. So I said, let me try it too.
Yeah.
I put on the same exact garment. And when I say I looked like a straight hooker, the dress went from whatever, I don't know, I think it was $3,500, went from that to like $35. Okay. It was so bad that it really got me thinking, like, do I want smaller breasts? Do I want to get smaller breasts just so I can wear different types of things? But I am always and sometimes I just don't give a, you know, I mean, that's a night, that is just a night or the day it's going to
Yeah.
be. But I definitely think women with bigger breasts need to be a little more aware of how deep that V or how it's
Here's the thing,
fit.
though, and I think you said something really important, but you're like, I just don't get it. The thing about is you have to understand that the way you dress can generate a certain response.
For sure.
Good or bad. You know, but you have to understand what image you're portraying. So if maybe because you have bigger boobs, that deeper V might look more provocative or sexier.
What a sweet way to put it.
That is okay, but understand that.
You're right.
Know
and I
that
have to be ready for that.
Know that. So when you're going out and you're in that mood, then it makes sense. Like, again, you don't care.
Right.
But you have to know. You can't be like, oh my God, I had no idea. Like, why did he think that? Or she think that? Or again, you have to understand and then own it. Because again, who cares if you look more provocative or who cares? Like, if that's what you want, that's what you want. But own it and know it. Don't be shocked by it.
Okay, so we have manifested Oprah.
Yes.
So what else are we manifesting today?
I mean,
I think you're very, you give off a very authentic, which is a word I think is used way too much, but truly authentic, sincere.
It may be used a lot,
Yeah.
but that word is a huge compliment to me, because I always tell myself it is very important for me to be authentic, not only to other people, but with myself. I think the minute you're able to be authentic in who you are, where you're going, you attract the right people. Because when you can be authentic, more people will root for you, more people will help you. And if you don't connect with someone in your authenticity, then that's not the right person for you.
Well, you are definitely authentic. And I was going to end on that, but I want to ask you this one thing. Are there any missteps that you took, or if you think about your career, that you would have done differently, or any information or advice that you could give to up and coming fashion designers or people that want to be in fashion?
I think my advice to anyone who wants to be in fashion, or let alone anyone that has a dream, is to really follow your gut feeling of what you want. We all know what we want in life. We truly do. But we always let fear and doubt hold us back. So the minute that you're able to make your life decisions based on those aspirations, those hopes, those dreams, you will make the right decisions. Never let your fears dictate the next step of where you're going.
That's good. I don't know how I follow that up. Okay. So, once again, I think that I appreciate the conversation. And so now I'm going to follow you, because you should be on TV. Just saying.
Well, I can't say too much, but
you don't say anything. I'm just saying.
You might be seeing me on a TV near you soon.
Okay, good. We would love that. And where can people find you and follow you?
You can follow me on my social media pages. It's always at Walter Collection.
Okay.
And due to the great power of social media and AI and Google, the minute you Google my name, Walter Mendez, you're able to see everything, my website, my Instagram, social media. But yeah, so I'm really excited, because although I've accomplished so much, and I'm so grateful because I've been so blessed, where I'm headed is yet to come, and that's very exciting.
Do you think, would you move to Europe?
Yes and no. I love LA. I love the weather. My mood changes so much based on the weather, and nowhere in the world has amazing weather like we do. True. So I think I will definitely have houses all over the world, but I will never get rid of my house in LA, because it's home.
Oh, okay. Well, wherever you are, home or work, I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast. If you watched us on YouTube, tell your friends what a beautiful face Walter Mendez. I mean, his face and these teeth are perfect, okay? I didn't want to be inappropriate and talk about it in the middle of the interview, but he seriously has a perfect face. If you decided to listen to us on your favorite podcast platform, thank you. On both, please like and subscribe. And with that, thank you so much, Walter, for joining me in this conversation.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Go follow Walter. Bye.
true.